Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sasha Parrish, and I am the staff editor of the Diversity Business Review and the host of the Diversity Business Review podcast. On today's episode, we have with us contributing author of the Diversity Business Review Spring Edition, Nadine Vogel. Let's dive right in. Nadine, thank you for being here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Sasha. Yes, this is Nadine Vogel. I am CEO of Springboard Global Enterprises, which is home to Springboard Consulting, the WIP Group, the Springboard Foundation, Disability Mom and Company, lots and lots of stuff. But the topic today, obviously, is to focus on menopause and menopause in the workplace, which brings together the WIP Group, which stands for Women, Influence, and Power, and Springboard Consulting, which works on the disability side.
Great. Thank you, Nadine, for being here today.
Thank you.
To start, can you give us a brief summary of your article for those who may be interested but unfamiliar?
Absolutely. So the article was called Working Through Menopause. This is a topic, perimenopause, menopause, that is rarely talked about in the workplace, although half of the world's population and about 25% of our US workforce experiences symptoms related to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the article really talks about what this is. How do we define it? What does it look like? Why is there so much stigma around it in the workplace? The cost to businesses for not addressing it, and really summarizes with what a company can and should be doing to look at this today.
That's great. So you wrote this for our spring edition of the Diversity Business Review. It's been a moment, but before we go there, all of our DBR contributors submit pieces based on topics that they feel are important. So why did you choose this topic? What does it mean for you? And what do you hope for this article to accomplish?
So menopause isn't going away, right? Like I said, it impacts the world's population. The reason in particular that I wrote this is twofold. One, in countries like in the UK for example, menopause is a protected class under disability regulation legislation.
Oh, wow.
There's an issue to be addressed. While in the US, it is not under any kind of ADA or other regulatory environment. What I will say is my personal opinion is that just wait, because it will be. It will be going on. And then on a more personal note, I've been dealing with perimenopause and menopausal symptoms for 20 years.
Wow.
So the average length of time for women going through this for symptoms is about 10. So I'm obviously an overachiever, but it is something that impacts me personally.
Well, thank you. I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate your insights. My mother in particular was really excited when she found out that you were writing this piece. So since you wrote this article, have you come across any new data that might have changed your opinion or provoked you to potentially expand on your work?
I don't know if it's new or it's just ongoing and expanded, but in the article I talked about that for companies that don't address menopause in their workplaces, that it creates what we call an occupational wellness problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually costing over 800 billion, that is with a B, on a global scale.
Wow.
And then hot flashes alone, something that many of us experience.
Mm-hmm.
The US is costing businesses about 14 billion with a B. And so what we're seeing, it's interesting because we're seeing more and more companies put into their health benefits things that have to do with pregnancy. And as well as, specialized pregnancy, adoption, things like that. But what's interesting is not every woman will become pregnant, right? Not every woman will adopt a child, yet every woman will experience menopause. Not every woman will experience it in the same way or as severe. So we see that. We see more women in the workplace, especially at management and executive levels, right? We've spent years in corporate to help women break the glass ceiling. But if as they're breaking the glass ceiling, they're experiencing menopausal symptoms that are dragging them down, then what are we doing? right? That we're stepping on our own feet. So we have to think about this because it's not going away. It is increasing. Society is getting older. Women start beginning to experience, menopausal or perimenopausal symptoms in their 40s.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Nadine, so much for expanding on this topic and for introducing us to some new data. Before we go, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, there's a lot that companies can do. I think employers, there's so much stigma that they're just not sure what they can or should be doing.
Yeah.
So some things like, let's think about how we create a culture of transparency with listening sessions, adding menopause to the DEI agenda, introducing new policies and practices around practical ways to support, provide training on how to engage. If you're the woman going through it, how to engage with management if you want to talk about it or need some support, how managers can then engage. I think it's something that people are just afraid. They don't know what to say and afraid they're going to say the wrong thing. So providing training. The other thing is to think about accommodations. We think about workplace accommodations, reasonable accommodations, obviously for individuals with disabilities. That doesn't mean, however, that we can't think of benefits, health benefits, and other types of practices that would serve as an accommodation. So whether it's flex work, whether it's modifying work site, temperature, AC, fan, things like that, modifying a dress code, looking at our health benefits just on a global scale and saying, what is there that we can do to provide more specific type benefits for women that have this type of need? And then, all of those things that we're talking about are things that we can provide, and we can help. We being Springboard and the WIP group, we can help companies. We have listening sessions. We have sessions where we bring women together. We bring men together to have the conversation. We have toolkits. There's so much that we can do. And, interestingly enough, we're entering the fall. And in October, we celebrate World Menopause Month.
Oh, wow.
Health Organization and the International Menopause Society designated October as this special month. And, it's funny because when I tell folks this, sometimes they say, oh, did that just start? No, this has been going on since 2014. So
Oh,
9 years that we've been doing this. So it's something that we need to pay attention to. I am just so grateful that Diversity MBA is taking the time to put this into your offerings, right? Into your talking points, into your conversations like this, because I think it shows thought leadership for the organizations that you serve.
absolutely. When you think about it, it's kind of bizarre that nobody's addressed it. But at this point, it's such a huge part of a woman's life, and it's just so rarely spoken about.
Right, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Nadine. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
To our listeners, you can access Nadine's full article, Working Through Menopause, on the Diversity Business Review website, diversitybusinessreview.com, or in the Diversity Business Review Spring Edition alongside several of our other amazing contributors. Anything you'd like to add, Nadine?
Just to say thank you very much, and I wish everyone a fabulous World Menopause Month.
Absolutely. Thank you all for listening.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.